Hello, everyone. Welcome to Healing Dialogue, healing hearts and minds one episode at a time. My name is Janine.
And my name is Carol. And today's topic is honouring how far we have come this season.
So, Carol, from a spiritual perspective, what does that mean?
You mean honouring?
I mean the whole thing in the context of Christmas.
Okay, so honouring from a spiritual perspective is taking the tough days with the smooth. And I believe that Christmas runs alongside normal life. So, for instance, I've got some goodies in my cupboard, and I also, so the goodies are for Christmas and Christmas Day and Boxing Day, and I also have to make lunches for work. And because I've been eating the same lunches for about 11 months, I'd rather have obviously the goodies
Yes,
to
of
take
course.
to take to work. So this is where kind of like I'm a little bit conflicted, and it sounds really silly, but it's kind of like giving me a little bit of kind of overwhelming and anxiety. So these feelings are kind of like a little bit muddled. I just didn't want to go and spend extra money at Christmas time because I've eaten all the goodies and then I've got the lunch stuff left.
Well, you can't do much with lunch stuff during Christmas, can you? Especially if you've eaten it for the last 11 months. Okay, so did you do anything to find your center and regulate those emotions from a spiritual perspective?
Okay, so obviously, because I was really busy in my mind, then I managed to find myself really nice safe space, and I just stood and I closed my eyes. And the reason I closed my eyes was to stop all the sensory stimulus from, kind of like going around my mind. And then I just was breathing, just breathed in and stood there. And to be honest with you, it was lovely. And I ended up having a feeling of calmness. And then my mind became quiet.
Okay, so it did help. And so once you did the breathing exercises to, regulate those emotions, to find that calm, was there anything else you did afterwards to try and help with this process and keep that feeling of regulation and that calmness?
Yeah, I definitely did. I would call it then I distracted myself and made a hot drink. And so the reason I continued to make a hot drink was that I was keeping the calmness that I had obviously generated, and I liked being in that
Mm.
frame of mind. So once I'd made my hot drink, and that was kind of like very purposeful, very mindful, then I sat down.
Okay, I like that mindful. When you were having this tea, did any of those intrusive thoughts, that conflict, um, arise while you were in this calm state and having this cup of tea?
No, they didn't arise, and they didn't arise because I was concentrating, sort of like moment by moment on what I was actually doing.
Mhm.
So I didn't give myself any permission to divert from where I was at. And it's definitely scientifically proven that our mind can only think of one thing at a time, contrary to the belief of what women would maybe like.
Yeah, no, I like to believe women are multitaskers and we can do everything. We have a superpower. Or maybe that's what I want to have as a superpower as a woman. Um, but yeah, so you had the warm drink, you regulated, you felt a bit better. And I can understand when you discuss distraction, the tea being a distraction, I can relate to that because in my personal life, I went through a very difficult time in my life when I had a lot of challenges. I'd say about 10, 15 years ago. And I found it very difficult to get through that time in my life. Actually, to get through every single day was a struggle. And I was sad, I was anxious, and I was depressed. I found that the distraction helped. My distraction at the time was my work because I recently, you know, gained employment in another establishment. And at this place, there were weekly deadlines and there was a lot of work. So I would come home in the evenings after work and I would finish my family responsibilities and stuff like that. And then I'd set up and I'd start working. I'd work until late in the evenings and mostly into the wee hours of the morning. But then when I was done, I would grab a hot drink and I'd sit there quietly in the silence of the house. And in that quiet and in that silence, I had a moment to think clearly about the thing that was upsetting me and that conflict of emotions. And in that time, I realized that there were steps and things that I could do to overcome those challenges. And it gave me a clear idea of the problem and how to sort it out and how to make it better for myself. So, yes, I do believe in distraction. And I do think it's a powerful way to rid yourself of anxiety and other emotions. But I must warn that it mustn't become an obsession and that you fall into that rut where it's an obsession, but that's for another day. So, yeah.
So, Genevieve, from what you were saying about obviously realizing it's okay to have mixed emotions, how would you say that you are honoring those?
So you honoring your emotions, whatever they may be, because you must honor. I am anxious, I am depressed, and then you have the techniques like your breathing techniques and distraction, and we'll discuss throughout the weeks many more other techniques that a person can use to help you deal with those emotions. But you need to honor them first and then use these techniques to overcome those challenges and those emotions and regulate yourself, bringing yourself to a sense of calm, as you spoke about, and that center.
So, as we're obviously speaking about kind of this going to be a journey,
Yes.
and for to obviously come to the end of our little podcast journey, I think it's a really good idea if we do an affirmation, because an affirmation is another little tool in our kind of certainly spiritual journey to plant seeds. So we're planting a little seed that we do not need to believe, but it can come true when we continue to think about it. So for this little affirmation, we're going to have, even in overwhelm or excitement, all is well and we will be okay.
Yes. And it's also helping us to reconstruct our belief system, and our core beliefs is using these affirmations to be kinder to ourselves and more positive talk and self-compassion. So I think it is very important. And I've really enjoyed my chat with you today, Carol, and expressing how we can overcome these emotions and that there are techniques and there is help out there. And we are there for your journey. And we've really enjoyed this tonight.
Yeah, I enjoyed talking to you, Genevieve, and thank you for your sharing all your information.
Yes. And we hope you have a lovely week and you really enjoy this season. And bye for now.
Okay, and it's cheerio from me.